Hi gamers, it's Marina, and today we have some new announcements. Today's reveals are Naga and Quilboar, so let's jump right into it. Our first minion we have here is a Naga, and it looks like the only new Naga that they're introducing. It's a tier 3 volcanic visitor. Spellcraft, choose one, give your minions +2 attack until next turn, or +2 health until next turn. This just seems like a worse Vengeful Slither Spear or something like that. The one that used to like give all your minions +1 health, and if they died, they got it permanently. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is, I guess, some nice stats to play if you grab this right when you go to turn 3 to win a combat. Other than that, I don't know. We'll have to see what you can do with this, but this doesn't excite me. As for Quilboar, our first one is Fearless Foodie. Choose one. Your blood gems give an extra +1/+1 this game, or get 4 blood gems. The gold version gives +2/+2. You get 8 blood gems. Which, if this is a choose one, you're probably not gonna keep these to get a gold one anyway. Yeah, this is pretty good. This is a card that gives your blood gems scaling for attack and health, which is always welcome. I took a little peek at what's leaving, and I will tell you, Quilboar does not have any scalers that are leaving, so this means this is just an extra addition to the already great scaling you can do for blood gems. Yeah, this just seems like a card, if you're playing Quilboar and you see it, you play it for sure, and you get rid of it. The thing to notice is that it's a choose one, so it cannot be abused with Battlecry procs. It can, however, still be abused with Well-Wisher if you're playing duos. You can still pass this around, so that's something to think about. That makes this card even stronger, in duos particularly. But in solos, this is a one and done. It's a cool card. And the other Quilboar we're getting is Hot Air Surveyor. Blood gems played from your hand cast an extra time. Also, another spoiler, we're losing a card that this is replacing. We're losing Rugug. Rugug basically allowed you to cast a blood gem on Rugug, and it would cast another blood gem on something else. So it gave you a double blood gem on that. This does not have a Divine Shield, which Rugug had, but this allows you to choose freely which minion you want to get double blood gems for. So I think this is actually a better card than Rugug. It serves the same exact purpose, basically. It doesn't proc if you use something like Gem Smuggler or Sharla, but Rugug really only give you 1 extra blood gem from that. It's not really a big deal. I don't think Rugug was a great card to play with those comps anyway. Into the minions that are returning and or changing, we have a Snail Cavalry, which is going down to tier 1 and changing a little bit. It used to gain only health, and now it gains attack and health. So overall, this is kind of a buff to this card. You gain less health, but you're gaining attack as well. Overall, I think this actually is a better card. I think this is a card that doesn't feel as bad to grab. It also is any spell, so it can work with Naga, it can work if you're doing Quilboar, just to get some stats on your board and help you win some combats. We also have Thorn Captain returning. This is a Quilboar pirate. Every time you add a card to your hand, you gain 1 health until the next turn. This is okay for early game. 4 attack, 2 health on its own. Pretty decent. The next card we have returning is Warden of Old. It's a tier 3 Naga. Spellcraft, gain 1 gold. Just a way to get a little bit of extra gold generation in the mid-game. We have Zesty Shaker getting a change. Instead of it being a spellcraft that you get a new copy of, now it is any spell. Once per turn, when a spell is played on this, get a new copy. So this is a huge buff to Zesty Shaker. Zesty was basically locked to only Naga builds. Well, now you can use Zesty in basically so many other builds. The thing that comes to mind is Azurite. This kind of becomes a lesser version of Tathalon's buddy. That buddies are leaving, so we won't have Tathalon's buddy anymore. But Tathalon's buddy was huge for playing Azurite, because it just would generate a free copy of a spell for you. So Zesty is just going to do that same exact thing if you have a spell specifically that you can play on it. This is fantastic for Echoing Roar. which will just allow you to stack Echoing Roars every turn. And if you get a gold Zesty, you get 2 copies every turn, so you can stack 2 Echoing Roars, which every time you play an Echoing Roar, that minion gets +2/+2 at the end of turn. That can get some wild stats going off. So I think Zesty, if you see Naga and Elemental in the same lobby, that's going to be a fantastic card to play with an Elemental build. We have Critter Wrangler returning. Whenever you cast a spell on a minion, give it +2/+2. Yeah, this could get paired with a Zesty, or it's just okay in basically any comp where you're playing a bunch of spells. It's not tavern spells, so this works with blood gems, this works with spellcrafts. There's a lot of flexibility with this. Or Gozoa, the Tender, spellcraft, discover a Naga. Yeah, pretty straightforward. This is a way to help flesh out your Naga boards if you're playing Naga. And our last returning minion, Tide Mistress Athesa. Whenever you cast a spell, give 4 friendly Naga +1/+1. Again, it's not a spellcraft, it's not a tavern spell, it is any spell. So it could be any of those. Could be blood gems. Nice way to get stats on your Naga if you're playing Naga. Alright, for our minions leaving, we are going to say goodbye to Mini Myrmidon, Geomagus Rugug, Silent Swimmer, Corrupted Myrmidon, Quilboar, Slither Spear, Lord of Gains, and Silavaz the Vindictive. As far as changes, something I find interesting is we're losing 5 Naga, and we only got 1 new one here today. I know we got a bunch back, but I feel like it's strange. We haven't been seeing as many new minions as I would have expected. Maybe as the seasons go on, they're going to slow down the amount of new minions per season, and they're just going to be cycling in cards that already exist. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, although it is always fun to see new cards. For Quilboar, it's strange losing Rugug, but like I said earlier, I think that other Quilboar is a much better card and basically replaces Rugug. Quilboar was nice if you're playing Demons and Head Tavern scaling, but otherwise, it didn't get picked as often. On to our lesser trinkets. Our first one here is a Great Boar Sticker. Your blood gems give an extra +3 attack. That's okay. I'm sure we're going to see some that are much better than that. Our next trinket is Hoggy Bank. Start of combat, give your Quilboar Death Rattle. Get a blood gem. This already seems much better. Having more blood gems is going to give you more stats than your blood gems having +3 attack from the previous one. Also, this is more health stats that you would get off of that, and I think health becomes far more valuable on a Quilboar board anyway. Our next trinket is Lorewalker Scroll. Whenever you cast a spell on a minion, give it +2/+2. This works on Naga, this works on Quilboar, this works in other builds if you happen to see this trinket and you're playing spells. This is okay. Our next one is a Quilligraphy set. Avenge 4. Your blood gems give an extra +1/+1 this game. Okay, I think this is way better. This is way better than even the previous 2 Quilboar trinkets. If you have some spawners, like Boneheads from the Undead set, you can get some scaling on your blood gems really, really quickly. This is kind of wild. It's only 4 gold. I know 4 gold is more than some of the other ones, but it's still only 4 gold. To help put this one in perspective for you, if you have 8 minions dying per turn, this is like having 2 Pokey Thorn Mantles on your board on turn 6. Which, usually when you see someone with 2 Pokies on turn 6, they win the game. Our next trinket is Replica Cathedral. Your first spell each turn casts twice. Okay. This is good for the spell effect. I'm not sure. Maybe someone in the comments can let me know. I'm not sure if something like Azurite, where every time you play a spell, it buffs your tavern, would that buff Azurite twice, or would that only go off once? Because that means that any minion, when you play a spell, would not benefit from this trinket. So I think this trinket becomes worse. Our next trinket is Rusty Trident. Start of combat. Give your Naga Death Rattle. Get a random spellcraft spell. I think this, just looking at it, is way worse than like Hoggy Bank. You're getting random spellcrafts. These are usually always like your tier or lower. So it's not like you're going to be getting some nice upper tier ones unless you're a higher tier. But on turn 6, you're probably not. Overall, this is probably okay if you're running like Lava Lurkers and you want to get some extra stats or features on them. And our last lesser trinket is Shaker Portrait. Get a Zesty Shaker. Your Zesty Shakers give an extra copy of the spell. We already saw that Zesty is getting a big buff. This is a good one, again, if you're playing Elementals and you don't see like the Azurite Portrait and you see this, you grab this and you just get extra spells for your Azurite. This also, I guess, works in Naga. I don't know. I find it interesting that Naga just doesn't excite me here. Quilboar, I'm already like, I think they're going to be in a very strong place. I like Zesty, but he excites me more for Elementals than he does for Naga. And on to the greater trinkets. Our first one here is Blood Golem Sticker. Whenever a friendly Quilboar dies, summon a golem with stats equal to its blood gems 3 times per combat. I'm a bit confused on the wording here. I don't know whether it will summon a golem with stats equal to the number of blood gems or equal to the stats that the blood gems are giving a minion. If it's number of blood gems, that's okay. Not particularly exciting. If it's stats of the blood gems, that's close to being just outright broken, if not outright broken. I think Quilboar have so much scaling now that we're going back to when we saw like 1,000 giant Quilboar boards. So essentially, you're gonna destroy one of those giant Quilboar and have it just resummon with all its stats, pretty much, right? I'm really hoping this is just equal to the number of blood gems, and that's how this works, because otherwise I don't see how this isn't like the best trinket, assuming you have some way to scale your Quilboar. Our next trinket is Conductor Portrait. Get a Snarling Conductor. Whenever you discard a card, play a blood gem on all your minions. This seems really fun. I like this because this basically changes the way you can build Quilboar. If you get this, you don't have to get rid of your Mangled Bandits. You can keep Conductor as an actual good card on your board, because those cards turn into Sharlas or Gem Smugglers, right? Like they turn into those cards that just buff your whole board. And as long as you have scaling, that's great. So this one is pretty cool. I like this. Not to mention, you're still getting the bonus gold from Snarling Conductor, or you're still getting the bonus blood gem generation from Mangled Bandit. Our next one is Glow Scale Portrait. Get a Glow Scale, and your first spellcraft enchantment each turn is permanent. I like this. This is a way to make sure you're getting Divine Shield on your whole board. This works if you're playing any composition. If you see this trinket and you're playing Giant Quilboar already, maybe you grab this and put Divine Shield on all your minions. Although I would say Divine Shield is pretty easily countered, so maybe this isn't as good as picking some of the other ones. But if you have this and nothing else, like everything else is just like really, really bad or does not synergize with you at all, it's an okay option that forces your opponent to have the answer. Alright, our next trinket is Great Boar Sticker. This is a upgrade from the lesser trinket. Your blood gems give an extra +4/+4. It's definitely better than getting only 3 attack for your blood gems, but this is still not that great. Anything where you just get instant stats, but you don't get the ability to scale those stats, I just think it's far, far weaker. Our next trinket is Jar O' Gems. Each combat, after 2 friendly minions attack, play a blood gem on all your Quilboar. 2 left. Okay, so the first thing I noticed about this trinket is that unlike blood golem sticker up here peeking out. You see it says 3 times per combat. This does not have a combat limit. So this essentially means that every time 2 minions attack, you're getting a blood gem on all your Quilboar. If your blood gems are scaled, this just seems wild to me. If you're playing the Quilboar that every time it gets a blood gem, it gains Divine Shield, you just run those in front like Deflectobots. They hit, lose Divine Shields, and after the second one loses Divine Shield, it just gets it right back from getting blood gems on there. This seems arguably the best one so far. I don't know, like all of these Quilboar trinkets seem so strong. Well, not all of them. You have like Greater Boar Sticker. But most of them seem so strong that I feel like if you get any of these trinkets, you just pivot Quilboar. Our next trinket is a Lorewalker Scroll. Whenever you cast a spell on a minion, give it +5/+5. This one is okay. This, if you're playing blood gems out of your hand, this costs 2, and it's better than Great Boar Sticker because you're getting an extra 5/5 on your minions when you play a blood gem on them instead of 4/4. Like, I don't know. I feel like I would just say never pick the boar stickers. Unless, please tell me in the comments if there's something I'm missing here that's like a way to utilize the boar sticker. But I understand Lorewalker Scroll would not work with something like a Sharla. But I don't know. Like, the boar stickers just seem not good. I don't think Lorewalker Scroll is that great either. However, it's definitely better if you're doing things like spellcrafts because you're getting some permanent buffs here. So I get it's a Naga trinket. Overall, the Naga trinkets and Naga as a class still just feels really underwhelming. We'll see how it ends up being in game. Our last trinket here is a Quilligraphy set. This is the greater version. Avenge 4, your blood gems give an extra +2/+2 this game. I will say the lesser one was great. This one is even better. Although it's turn 9, so less time for you to get this extra scaling. I think if you get the lesser Quilligraphy set, you probably want something else like Jar of Gems or the Snarling Conductor one. Just, this is okay. This is getting some more scaling. If you have Generation, Blood Gem Generation, you're set. This is a good trinket overall. Walking away from today's updates, I feel like Quilboar are the strongest tribe I've seen so far. At the beginning of last season, they were the strongest tribe. Everyone was basically insta-locking Quilboar. If you saw it, you bought it. I think as of right now, we haven't seen the rest of the tribes, but as of right now, I feel like it's going to be a Quilboar-dominated meta again. But let's see what we have with other tribes before we make a final decision on that. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed getting to see all the new reveals. There's still more reveals every day for the next few days. So subscribe if you haven't subscribed and check out our videos that we're dropping in the next few days as well. See y'all next time.